Hi, it's John. How are you? Hey, I wanted to share something with you. I don't normally do 2 blog posts, day after day, but I sent one out yesterday. Sent it out about this time yesterday. And by the time of end of day yesterday afternoon, we'd had 3 or 4 conversations, 4 I think, from 4 people who had read the blog, and it had a whole different perspective, but they brought up some interesting issues. First of all, we talked to an attorney, and an attorney said, I read the blog, made me think about the profession that I'm in. Sort of has this, that's where we begin. It's an environment of that's where we begin with, you can't do that, we can't do that. Having a whole why we can't conversation rather than a starting from a place of how we will. So the environment that attorney's in, and he was speaking broadly as attorneys, that environment was sort of preventing, if you will, or there was some resistance about a how we will conversation. We also had a conversation with a professional financial planner and tried to do something in the social media, and the compliance department immediately started with why we can't. Whoa, compliance departments, wow, that's their job, is to make sure we have a conversation about why we can't. So it underscored again the environment and how we're surrounded by well-intentioned people who are just seemingly doing their jobs, but they're beginning with a why we can't conversation. A real estate person who was saying, we were having a conversation about social media, but they were having this conversation about, with everything that I have to do, I'm a solopreneur, and I don't have staff, and I don't have support systems, and how do I get it all done? And it became a why we can't conversation. And we started to underscore that and point that out. And finally, a salon owner who was saying, I'm really struggling with all this stuff, this computer stuff and this social media stuff, and it's driving me crazy, and the learning curve and the learning process is driving me crazy. And there was that undercurrent of, and that's why we can't do it. So I wanted to send this out to just be mindful. First of all, we're delighted that so many of you kind of reached out to us and said, thanks for that kind of a blog about why we can't, and shifting our conversation to how we will, because it made us think about that conversation. It made us think about coming from a place of how we will. But more importantly, for this post, what I really wanted to underscore was the need for us to kind of bring in the troops, if you will, in the support systems, because we're all surrounded by why we can't conversations. It's everywhere. And it's all the more reason why we have to actively think about it. We have to read blog posts like this. You have to share this blog post with other people so that they benefit from it and they think about it, and they're mindful of it. We have to read books. We have to watch movies. We have to listen to CDs. We have to really have conversations about how we will. Not so that we can be this positive person all the time. That's not what it's about. But it's about sort of exercising the how we will muscle. If we don't exercise that how we will muscle, like any other muscle, it's going to atrophy. And when it atrophies, what happens is we turn back to what we know, and what we're surrounded by, which is the why we can't conversation. So be mindful of it. Think about it. We're delighted that it served you all. But more importantly, I think, begin to surround yourself with a support system that encourages you and others around you to have that how we will conversation, which will serve you, your family, your community, your business so much better in the long run, even in the short run, but it'll serve you so much better than the why we can't conversation. That's it for now. That's what contagious leaders do. That's it for now. Be well and be contagious.